I didn't think I was ever going to make this video, but today is the day that I do, because I have been seeing a lot of comments within my laser videos asking me about a Glowforge laser and whether or not they should invest in it. Now, I have to tell you that my very first laser was a Glowforge laser. I honestly regret my purchase. We will get into the down and dirties of this later on in the video, but what I want to do today is I want to just educate some people on what's happening with Glowforge, but also what happened to me so you can best make your decisions. So who Glowforge is. Glowforge is a laser company based out of Seattle, Washington. And recently they just went through something that was similar to a bankruptcy, but really only at the state level. There wasn't like a whole lot of courtroom drama or anything like that. It was quietly done, but it was a big company. They had a lot of debt, like $183 million of debt. And what they've done now is they've bought back their brand. The company, the owners of Glowforge, bought back their brand from a bunch of different investors, wiped out a whole bunch of debt, laid off a whole bunch of people, closed their warehouses, and now they're just down to a skeleton crew. Now, Glowforge did launch back in 2015, so it's been a long time that they have been in the business. And when they did launch in 2015, they did a crowdfunding or a Kickstarter, and they had some record-breaking numbers. They raised over $183 million from investors, and in early 2025, they went and moved their manufacturers from China back to the United States so they can be a 100% made in America laser, which sounded good at the time. However, when that happened, in August, they decided that they were going to do some layoffs. Probably wasn't a great business move for them, which is whatever, okay? But then in September of 2025, they closed all the factories. At that point, when they did do the layoffs, they did have like well over 100 employees or something like that. And from what I can see, they really only have like 20 employees at this point in time. Now, in November of 2025, this is kind of where the bankruptcy stuff comes into play. So they went through what is called an assignment of benefit of creators. This is kind of like a bankruptcy, only it's at the state level, okay? So you're not gonna hear too much about it. So what ended up happening during that, and I kind of already covered it, is that they had all these investors and they just wiped out all the investors, and the owners of Glowforge, the original co-founders of them, bought the brand back. They bought their software back, they bought their hardware, and they have now like their slate is wiped clean. Essentially, what the owners of Glowforge are saying is this is going to be the rebirth, okay? But why does this matter to you? So whether or not you have a Glowforge or you're looking to buy a Glowforge, one thing to remember with their laser is that it is a web-based software and also laser. If you don't have the software, you don't have the laser. Well, and you will have a laser, it just won't work because you won't have the software. Now, to be fair, the Glowforge owners did say that they were going to, at the very least, make sure that the software is still running for their current users. They are still selling their machines. However, if they were to actually go through a bankruptcy and close doors, I doubt that they are going to keep their servers operational. And if that happens, you are now left with $1,000, $2,000, $4,000, $6,000 machine. That won't work because it won't work without their servers. Okay, there is no offline mode when it comes to this machine, and so it won't work. You can't take it out and use a different software or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. If the writing is already on the table with this company, I really would hesitate on purchasing and investing yourself into a machine if you don't already have it. Now, with all that being said, would I suggest owning a Glowforge? No, I would not, because let's talk about my personal experience, which I really haven't talked about to a whole lot of people, okay? Back in November of 2019, I purchased my very first laser, and I was so excited about it. I came from the Cricut world. I had a Cricut maker. I tried to cut wood on it one time. It was going to take me hours. And I looked at my husband. I said, there's no way that I can do this and sell product. At that point in time in 2019, I had a very successful Etsy shop where I was making well over $100,000 in my shop. And I wanted to level up the products that I was giving my customers. And at the time, the only laser that was affordable for crafters, but also small enough to fit into craft room was Glowforge. Now in 2026, we have lots of options to choose from. But back in 2019, the only thing that was on the market was a Glowforge. And so I decided to invest in a Glowforge, and it took me $3,745 out of my own pocket to purchase it. Now, while I do have to say that I did make a substantial amount of money with my laser, the headaches that came after the purchase is where, and it's not even just the headaches, the breakdowns, the headaches, the customer service or lack thereof is what turned me off with this company. If you don't know anything about me, I strongly believe that we work hard for our money, every single one of us, that we need to be investing our money when buying things with our money, that it will be a good investment that we can use for years to come. So when I invest $3,745 in a machine, I would expect it to run longer than a year. That is what I would expect. Now, a little over a year, it breaks. My Glowforge breaks, a little over a year. And what ended up breaking was the laser tube. Now, to be fair to Glowforge, laser tubes in a CO2 machine do go out eventually. That is something that is a known consumable product on a CO2 laser. Now, do I think that it should have lasted longer than a little over a year? Absolutely. Full-heartedly believe that. I have owned other lasers now, CO2 lasers now over the years since 2019, and all of them are doing just fine years down the road. So while I do understand and can give a little bit of grace to a tube breaking because it is a consumable product, I still think at this day that it should have lasted longer than just over a year. But that being said, I contacted Glowforge and said, hey, it's not working. I need a fix. At this point in time, I had a lot of orders. What's the fix? They said, well, your machine is out of warranty, but we can send you a refurbished one for $500. And I said, okay, that's fine. That's fine. So paid the $500, and it took 2 weeks for them to get a refurbished machine to my door. 2 weeks. Okay, fine. Sometimes things take a long time. All right, we're gonna give them some grace. Takes 2 weeks. Gets to my door, I plug it in, I try and start it up, and lo and behold, that one is dead. Don't work. Broken. Never worked. Got it out of the box, won't even power on. Contact Glowforge again. What in the world? I've waited 2 weeks. This machine is only a year old. 2 weeks later, you send me a broken machine. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Let's send you out another one. I wait 2 weeks, another 2 weeks. Now we're on my third machine, and I've now waited 4 weeks to get a working machine. All the while, I have lost a bunch of money. I've had to refund orders, and because I was so mad about that waiting 2 weeks and getting a broken machine, I went and spent $16,000 on an Epilog laser because it was the Cadillac of all lasers, and I really did not want to sacrifice any more money or making any more money. So that's what I did. So just keep in mind that now when we're going to have more breaks, I actually have another machine and several other machines that I can use. So going back to the Glowforge story, I wait another 2 weeks. 2 weeks go by. I get my machine. It arrives. Plug it in. It works. Thank you. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Unfortunately, though, we go less than a year and it breaks again. I'm not joking you. And mind you, at this point in time, I have an Epilog. I have a Glowforge. I then started dabbling into the xTool lasers and got myself an xTool laser. So I have a lot of CO2 lasers, and I am not using my Glowforge as much as what I used to. Okay, so I don't think that with the amount of hours that was had on this machine that it should have broken again, but it did, and it was the print head this time. Yeah, a print head. So contact Glowforge. Hey, it's broken. Less than a year. It was like 9 months. What's going on? It's broken again. They say, well, your refurbished machine only had a 60-day warranty. So you're out of that. You're going to have to pay another $500 and some odd dollars. Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay. So I paid it. got a print head. It worked. Great. Wonderful. But guess what? Within a year, it was just shy of a year, that sucker breaks again. It wasn't the laser tube this time, and it wasn't a print head, but it broke again. Less than a year. Another one. So now we have 3 lasers, 4 weeks of downtime, a print head. I don't even know how long the downtime was for that. Now we also have a broken motherboard. And guess what the fix was for that and how much money that was? $1,500. $1,500. So in total, in less than 4 years, I have now invested almost $7,000 in one machine. Now, most people I do know, when they invest in lasers, they are really also looking to make money with it. And if your machine is constantly breaking, you can't make money with it. You're going to be spending money, but you can't make it because it's so untrustworthy. I would hate for you to accept an order, let's say of like a huge wedding suite, and then it break, and then you're up a creek without a paddle and a broken laser. So at that point in time, I decided, you know what? I am done. I can no longer use your laser and tell people to buy the laser. I can no longer use this for my business because it's not a trustworthy machine. So I'm gonna say goodbye to Glowforge. And at that point in time, I said goodbye. I put that thing in a box and I never looked back. Now I do have to say that during the time of this entire fiasco of owning my Glowforge, I did have multiple conversations with the Glowforge customer service. I have to say that not only do they build their products cheaply and they don't really care about that, they also, their customer service stinks. Absolutely stinks. They don't care. They do acknowledge the fact that there are known issues that break over time and that they know that they have all these issues, but yet they keep shipping out these dang lasers and they're not fixing it. And that is a problem to me. Me and you, we all work hard for our money. I want you to invest your money right, and it's definitely not with that company. So what do I switch to? Okay, what if you, just like me, you're like, oh great, I have a Glowforge. I need to go somewhere. Or, oh, I thought I was buying a Glowforge, but now I'm not. Where do you go? There are a lot of laser companies on the market, okay? I have looked into Boss, Omtech, I had an Epilog, and there's also xTool, WeCreate. I mean, there is a laundry list of lasers out there, okay? For me, I have owned a Epilog, I have owned a WeCreate, I have owned obviously a Glowforge, and I've also owned practically every single one of the xTool lasers. Me personally, and the one that I love so much is going to be the xTool company and their umbrella of lasers that they have. One thing I like about them is they are not web-based. So you can use and operate their machines offline, which is amazing. It's not cloud-based, and you know, we have our own software. So if anything were to happen to the xTool company, you can still use their software. Hallelujah. Also, I have had some experience with their customer service and a machine that did have some issues. Now, I have the xTool P3 here in my craft room today, and I did recently notice an issue with my machine. It still ran, but there was a problem with the tank, and within a week, I was up and running again. Okay, there was no questions, there wasn't a broken machine, it wasn't anything like that. Yes, I did have to replace the entire part, and that took me forever to replace the part, or I guess my husband did it. But at the end of the day, my machine is operational. And over the years, I got my very first xTool in 23, so it has been 3 years. Every single laser but the one P3 has been fully operational without any headaches or issues. I have gone 3 years without ever having to contact customer service. And when I did, they had my problem fixed for me. They had that puppy shipped out quick, and they had me moving and grooving. Now, if you already have a Glowforge and you are looking to replace it with an xTool, if you have one of the larger Glowforges like the Plus or the Pro, what you're gonna be looking for is their direct comparison over on xTool is the xTool P2 and the P2S. P3 is just the bigger laser, but it is it is the xTool Pro or Plus. Now they do have Glowforge like Aura or something like the smaller ones. That's going to be your diode laser, and those the direct comparison to that over on xTool is going to be like the xTool M2 or even the S1. The F2 that's right here is similar to that. The smaller machines, it's just really small, but direct side-by-side comparisons, I would say that the M2 would be very, very similar to the Glowforge Aura if that's the one you were looking to buy or to replace. Now, in my opinion, if you were looking to get into laser crafting, the one machine that I would suggest to you to get started in with the xTool, this will be the one that doesn't give you, like, you're not going to be spending thousands of dollars investing it, is going to be the xTool M2. I have a lot of videos here on my channel about the xTool M2. So definitely, if before you purchase anything, definitely check out all the videos that I have on the xTool M2. So I think you will fall in love with it, but just before you invest, get yourself acquainted with the software and how everything works. The xTool M2 cannot cut all acrylics because it is a diode laser. So if you're looking to cut acrylics, then you will need the CO2 laser, which would be the xTool P2, P2S, or even the P3. But I have to tell you, the P3 is quite a big of investment. It is a larger machine with a larger footprint and a larger bed, so you can make larger projects. But just know, when you go that large, you are investing more of your money. So if you are unsure with laser crafting and you just don't know whether or not this is going to be for you or not, maybe the xTool M2 will be the way to go. And again, check out the videos that I have here on my channel about the xTool, because there is a whole lot. Now, there are other options with the xTool family, like the F1 and the F2 Ultra UV, that is right there. They also have MOPA lasers and stuff like that. Because this really is a video all about Glowforge, their lack of customer servers, and their lack of builds, I'm really not going to touch base on that, because they don't have a laser that's anywhere near comparable to those types of lasers. The one thing that I do love about the xTool company, again, that their software is not web-based, is that if you do decide to get the xTool M2 and you say, you know what, I actually want to get one of their other machines, all their machines work in one software, so you don't have to learn a new software per the machines. It's just a simple click of a button to switch over to whatever machine that you're going to be using for today. So it's very easy flowing. Definitely unlike anything that I had to deal with xTool. Now, if you do own a Glowforge and it is still working for you, don't just throw it away, and don't just go and invest in an xTool because you don't have to. Okay, it still works, it's still operational. I just would be keep your ears open and your ears and eyes open, and make sure that you're just staying up top with what's going on with the Glowforge company. If there's any talks about an actual bankruptcy or them shutting down, at that point in time, what I would suggest, if your machine is still running, but that stuff is going on, is look to invest then. Okay, don't invest until the machine either breaks, which I hope it doesn't. I really do. I hope that if you invested in a Glowforge laser, I sure hope it doesn't break. That I would hate for you to have to reinvest your money. And I also sure hope that they keep all their servers online if they do end up going through bankruptcy, because I just don't, like, that just sucks for me. Or not for me, for you. The thought of that really weighs heavy on me, because I would just feel so terrible for that. But if you own a Glowforge and it still works, don't just run out and buy because you're afraid that something's going to happen. Wait until you either have issues with it or something happens with the company, and at that point in time, obviously invest. Now, I would say that I do love the xTool lasers. I'm sure you've figured it out. Now, I'm not sure if there are other stories of mine for the Glowforge company. I am one person and they have sold millions of these products. I am just saying what I know and my experience, and I can wholeheartedly, when people ask me about if they should get that laser, I can wholeheartedly say absolutely not. Do not get that. Worst investment of my crafting life, and I would never suggest anyone else grab that too. So again, my friends, this truly wasn't a video I thought I ever wanted to make, but I do think that it's just something that I needed to put my opinion out there, just because I have seen so many people comment asking about this, and I feel like I just needed to have like a a spot to put you. So where I get another comment like this, I can just link you to this video and you can watch it from the front to the back, and then you can have all of my opinions given to you as a factual place to go. Thanks for hanging out with me, my friends. Sorry this video is unlike any other ones on my channel. I will see you the next time.